Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hot Combs and Popcorn podcast. For those who don't know, my name is Brianna.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Danielle.
And one of the things we like to do here on this podcast is review movies and television shows in the Black culture that we just have not seen by now, that we should have, and that, yes, we felt the shame for. We don't need it. Thank you. And at the end of this, after we discuss all of our thoughts and feelings as millennials in the film industry, we will be rating these movies from 1 to 5 hot combs. Okay. So today we are going to be reviewing the famous, the beloved New Jack City. Okay. It's directed by Mario Van Peebles and is starring Wesley Snipes, Ice-T, Mario himself, Chris Rock, Alan Payne, and many, many more. New Jack City was released on March 8th, 1991, is rated R, as it should be, and has a runtime of 1 hour and 41 minutes. Now, a quick synopsis for those who also have not seen it. New Jack City follows Nino Brown and the CMB as they grow their empire and presence in New York City as the most powerful gang, all the while being infiltrated by an undercover detective, Scotty Appleton, as Detective Stone in the New York PD plot to take them down. Okay, everybody knows what's going on? Great. So let's get started, ladies. We know what we came here to do. So let's get to it. This is a safe space. What are our thoughts on New Jack City and how do we feel about it?
Well,
don't know.
I would say I didn't necessarily enjoy the movie.
Okay.
It made me think, I didn't necessarily have like a favorite part or a part that I really liked about it, because since it was like so much like, I'm gonna shoot you on this corner and that's just that on that, and we got drugs over here, like I was just like, all right, okay. Like for me it was kind of a one and done. Like I'm not gonna go back and be like, I want to watch New Jack City today. Like that's all I.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I will say I do love some violence. Okay, I do love some bloodshed when it comes to my movies. I like the action, and I like shocking things to happen because it's memorable. But these are always one and dones for me because it's fun in the moment, but I'm the type of person that likes to fall asleep watching like Abbott Elementary or something. I'm not going to fall asleep watching New Jack City. You know what I mean? I think that it was good. It was good. I mean, Wesley Snipes, I forgot that he was Wesley Snipes. I believe that he was Nino Brown even after the credits were rolling. I said, damn, this man's a genius. But it was so much. It was so heavy. Like the themes that were discussed, like as far as like drug usage, especially in that era, I just couldn't get over the fact that like real people lived this life and it was upsetting to watch. It was. Especially Chris Rock. That was.
Yeah. You ain't gotta go out like that. Like what?
That was sad.
Like.
Yeah, I actually saw this in a theater. It was a screening, and Mario Van Peebles was there. He made an Oscar joke during it. He was like, in this movie, Chris Rock is the victim, and I guess he's still a victim. And everybody went, ooh. And I was like,
too soon.
You should
maybe not the joke to make for the movie.
No,
that's being presented, but
yeah. So I don't know. It was good. It was good for what it was.
I agree. I thought it was a good movie. I think it was made to make you feel uncomfortable. It very much was. I don't think it was supposed to be a feel-good movie. I'm sure I'm not like crazy in thinking that. Yes, that's how I feel about it. It was a good movie. I wouldn't. When I say I wouldn't rewatch it, I wouldn't rewatch a lot of movies. So it's not like personal to this movie. I feel like I saw it and it was around the 1:30 mark as far as time. So it was just like a very
we love
bring it back.
Bring it back.
Okay.
Bring 90 to 120. That's it.
Concise. Okay, like a concise plot line. I feel like majority of the stuff was wrapped up at the end and they were able to do it in an hour and a half. I just feel like that's possible to do in this day and age, but I digress. I thought it was very of the time. I don't feel like they tried to make this era look pretty. I feel like we don't really see a lot of movies nowadays where, and don't get me wrong, Wesley Snipes was the villain. Like, it wasn't like he was a kind of a nice guy. Like, no, this man put a baby in front of him. He was a villain. He was a villain. But I don't think we see like a lot of movies like that nowadays. So especially for it to be so, if I could say raw, like so in your face, so crass about it, like you just don't see a lot of movies like that anymore. And I'm glad I saw this. I feel like if I saw it during the time that it came out, I would feel differently. I'd probably be a lot more not ecstatic about it, but like I'd probably like the movie a lot more, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, they gave us a solid anti-hero, you know, like solid.
His performance is, you cannot deny how good of an actor Wesley Snipes is and how good of a villain he was in this to everybody he met. I will say though, this is just off beat path. I finally know where the picture from the Tony Hawk Twitter came from. I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
When I saw it on screen, I was like, wait. This is the Tony Hawk Twitter thing. Like I always knew it. And like, obviously when the Oscars came back and Tony Hawk was like, I'm alive. I made it. Like I got it, but I never really knew where the scene came from.
Yeah.
And I saw Wesley in the hat and I was like, that's the meme.
That's
the
it.
Tony Hawk meme. That's
Here comes the tear.
This is educational. Who knew? Like who knew I would get something out of it? So yeah.
There is nothing more satisfying than finding the origin of a meme.
Look, in real time. Like, and not even knowing you're walking into it. I love it. Yeah. It was, it was very, I have to say, one of my favorite scenes, which I don't say favorite because like my heart was warm. No, it's because of how I think brilliantly it was shot, is the montage scene with the guys that was outside the a cappella group singing the New Jack City song while CMB was taking over the Carter houses. Very emotional scene. I think it was very beautifully shot, even for it to like travel through time as it was. It kind of reminds me of this, I don't know if it was a book or a story, but it was something about something similar happening in Cabrini Green, which is in Chicago, which is where I'm from. And just kind of talking about how like the drug lord people kind of went from like apartments to apartments and getting debts and everything. Like it visually gave me something to see for that story out of this movie. So there were definitely some high points or some like really grasping points. What were some grasping moments from you guys that you can remember, whether it made you feel good or bad?
I don't think I had a point that made me feel good, but but the ones that stood out to me, when they shot the Jamaican man, that was one.
Oh yeah, that was just.
Wait, was that the first guy that died? What's her name? Keisha?
Yes.
Yeah, on the street. Yes.
No, fuck it. It's happening.
Because I wasn't expecting it. So I'm just sitting here, and she's like, bow. And I was like, oh.
That's when I had to look up the rating for this movie. Like dead ass. Like I didn't look up the rating for it. And then when he got shot and killed, because like honestly, that really reminded me of the complete video of it is in the Five Bloods, but like obviously it's a real thing. When the war was happening in Vietnam and that guy on the street got shot in the head by the police.
Yes.
And like watching it real time, it reminded me of like this scene. Like obviously the guy in Vietnam knew it was about to happen, but like the fact that it wasn't no cutaway, it was just a quib on the side of his head, didn't see it, wasn't expecting it. She said boom, and I was like, okay, this man dead. I just watched the man die on screen. Like,
yeah,
huh? Like,
that was so shocking. That was the moment that I was gonna mention as well, because what the fuck? I think that was the first time that someone died in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, that was a really good introduction to how the rest of the movie is going to play out. You know,
yeah.
Shocking, uncomfortable, and violent.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was a great moment, just like for the story.
Mm-hmm.
But for me personally, I thought it was still good personally. Shocking though.
It was very in tune with, which we'll get to later, about like the plot twist at the end. It was very in tune with the teacher story that Nino was talking about. And it's like, okay, so basically that's how he learned, and that's how he taught a girl to be. Like, you got to shoot and kill somebody to get in this gang and prove that you are about that life. And that carried on throughout the whole movie. Even when they had the shotgun to the guy that was naked walking down the street.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, these menaces, they just
in broad daylight.
In broad daylight.
Yeah, that naked man with the gun, that really made me uncomfortable. Only because like I couldn't not think about one of my classes. Oh God, which one was it? It might have been like Black Experience 1 or 2 or African Worldview or something, when we were learning about like different tactics used to enslave Africans, and like something like that is one of them. And it just really was harmful for me to see that, considering like the people that are doing this are still Black, and like they're terrorizing their own neighborhood, their own communities, and it just really made me upset. But I didn't think I was going to mention it this early, but nothing upset me more than that baby. When
I'm not going to say the word that I want to say, because, you know, I don't, that N-word, that's how I felt. I was like,
yeah,
you just picked up a child, like a toddler, which honestly, I know it's movie magic. It doesn't make sense that she didn't get shot. With the amount of shots that were happening, the amount of gunfire that was happening, like literally someone right next to her got shot. It was definitely a lot of movie magic, because Ice-T's character, Wesley Snipes, that girl, like all of them would have gotten at least hit with one bullet for the way that they were spraying them. The fact that she didn't is great, but like, I think they did a really good job at never making Nino a redeemable character. I think that was the point, and they hit home with it the entire time.
Yeah, it only made sense for him to die. Like,
he did.
He had to.
Now, I do have a question.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts. Were they alluding to the fact that Nino was the cause of the Valentine's Day massacre?
You know, I was confused about that too, because they brought it up. They brought up the Valentine's Day massacre, and I was like, well, was he just a part of it, or like, I don't know. I didn't get a clear answer on that.
Yeah, I was also confused. I
know Nino Brown, like this whole thing is like non-existent.
Right.
But just like historically, I don't think it was like, I could be wrong. I'm not gonna look it up to find out. But historically, I don't think a Black gang was responsible for that. I'm pretty sure it was like the mob against the mob type thing. So when they threw it in there, I was kind of just like, are they throwing this in there for reference of what he wants to do later as an example? Are they saying that he shot them outside?
1929.
Happened in 1929, yeah.
So maybe it was a reference to that, because that was a real thing. And I was just like confused.
Yeah, it says 7 people were murdered.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that was like his inspiration was the Valentine's Day massacre or something like that, take over, because he was, by any means, I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'm gonna kill anybody to get where I need to go. So I don't know if he was just like taking inspiration from something like that to like to take over the Carter or to do whatever, or to like go after the Dawn. I don't know, but which I have feelings about the Dawn.
What are your feelings, then?
Yeah, speak on it.
I thought it was so dumb, so dumb that you try to take a hit on this man, right? On Nino. And you outside the next day drinking cappuccinos outside your restaurant.
Yeah.
Just think like you're going to die. Like why didn't you go inside?
It's the arrogance for me. Like
I was like, is it just me? Like I would not be just posted up outside.
It wasn't
like
no, it wasn't just you. What about you, Danielle? Was there any other things, like moments in the movie that really made you remember, like not necessarily like a low light, but something that was just like, wow, that might have been like fucked up, but that was like artfully shot or something like that?
Okay, I'll say like the scene where they find out that Icy's character, whose name I cannot think of.
Oh,
Scotty Appleton.
Scotty is 5-0, and they start shooting it up, and Nino just becomes a ninja, and he gets a.
Okay, because
I was like,
what
is going on?
I was about to write that down, low key. I was like, so this man a ninja now?
Right. I was like, what in the Ninja Warrior is going on here?
I was like, this man's upside down.
Yes.
Right. I get how this works, like for the plot, like he has to live until the end of the movie, whatever. But sometimes I just cannot suspend my disbelief enough for this.
Absolutely. This man was hanging upside down in bright red on top of that.
But then he stole a jacket. He stole one of the police jackets and he put.
Now that was smart.
Yeah,
that's something I would expect Nino to do. Hanging upside down like Spider-Man cutting a man's throat, not in character. Like we had never seen that in the movie before. I think if he had done something like that before, you'd be like, okay. But everything that he's done has been based in like violence and guns.
Yeah.
Yes, not physicality.
Yeah, and even his like working out was just playing basketball, so it's not like we saw him hanging from the monkey bars or nothing.
I'm dead. I forgot about that.
That's screaming. Like,
man.
But I thought it was shot so well. Like, I was like, this is crazy. He looked like he had gone mad. Like he was on the brink. Which I get, like I thought it was a well shot scene. But also, the Dada man, the way that he died, and like he was about to
Dada? Yeah. The stutter man.
Yeah, they call him the Dada man.
Okay, yeah. Because I had feelings.
His name?
Yeah, that's his credit name. It's actually his credit name said the Da man.
Because he stutters. But see, that's the thing. I didn't understand why they gave him a stutter. I don't know if it was to make his character recognizable outside of other characters, like a specific trait. Because the way the movie started, I had never seen anything about New Jersey. Okay. Didn't even know Ice-T was in it. Had no idea about the other half of the plot. So watching it from a blind perspective with no trailer, it made it kind of seem like it was going to follow the gang intensely, specifically. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that half the plot was also shared with the NYPD and the detectives, it was kind of just like, why does he have a stutter? Because there was like moments where he wasn't talking with a stutter.
Right. The whole stutter thing kind of like makes me think that this could have just been like something of the time where they thought that in order to like demean a character, they have to give them a stutter. Because like so many people have stutters and it's fine. Like no one blinks an eye, but I guess in order to like lower him, they thought that this would be a good idea. And that is something that did not age well because it was not necessary. They could have taken it out and the plot would have been the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Had him not speak at all, honestly. Like, if he didn't have any lines in it, it still would have been the same effect, because I mean they didn't really speak to him. Like, he would say stuff and they'd be like, oh, shut up, blah blah blah. Like, you could have just had him not say anything. He could have just been pure muscle.
Yeah,
which I think would have been better to have just be the muscle.
Something else. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Something else that I feel like didn't age well, since we're on the topic of it. Nino's girlfriend was very annoying to me. And I know that she was typecasted very clearly as the light-skinned girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I know that they were trying to like give her a storyline with the whole she can't have kids thing. Mm-hmm. But like, girl, stand up. Like, stand up. Like,
yeah.
So you see him pick this baby up. Why, like, what are you screaming at him gonna do? I feel like that was very much in character for the time period of women being overly emotional about stuff and just kind of flopping around and screaming. And clearly with Nino's character, you got to expect like some domestic violence to happen at some point. But like, girl, stand up. Like, you finna watch this other girl take your man. You mad that she a whore, but not at your man for.
Yeah. What's that? Is that like called like the lamp thing or whatever? Like, you know, like the sexy leg.
Yeah.
They just have like a woman there just to be cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's all she was
like just... they could have taken her out and again the plot wouldn't have changed.
No, she could have been.
She had to bring her cousin.
Well, she also was showing like a little bit of the tension between Nino and G Money, and how like, I guess it was alluding to the fact that G Money was losing power and he wasn't really being respected, which is why he ended up like becoming a rat. But it was just like, I don't know. I just have a thing for like whiny women characters. I just am not a fan of it. There's plenty of movies nowadays that have come out in the 2000s that still have that. But I'm not a fan of a whiny woman character. I know it's something of the time, which is what I'm trying to rate it as and like understand it as. But no matter the time period, I'm just not, it doesn't age well. It's not cute. It's not redeemable. Like,
yeah.
Girl, like, why are you even talking to him? You just saw him pick up a baby so he could shield himself from getting shot. Like, you think crying about it is gonna make him not do it again? Like, you know who you with.
Like, leave. Like, girl, you're in the middle of a shootout. Why are you there?
Right.
Very bird behavior.
He said, "Don't you touch me." At that one point, I would have been like, oh, okay, goodbye. Like, because, okay, I will say this. I wasn't really paying her much attention because, like, as in this acting role, but like, I was focused on, I know her. Why do I know her? And I realized that she plays Dominique in Dynasty, like the new version of Dynasty. And like, those two characters are day and night. Like, she's whiny in this one, and this one she's plotting and scheming. So I was like, this is interesting. Seeing her like in a role where she's not giving anything.
We love a level up. Okay.
Like, I was just surprised about that. And I saw that, like, I think this was her breakout role, was this movie. And I was like, that's so interesting because, like, what did it do? Like, she brought her cousin, but she didn't have a role within CMB. Yeah, CMB. Like, all she did was just be the arm candy.
Who was her cousin?
Her cousin was the banker. So, like, in one of the first scenes, she brought him to Nino as like the work associate. But
wait, I don't remember any.
Don't even
really.
If you had not just explained that, I would have no idea what you're talking
about. Yeah, that was her cousin. She brought him in, and like the whole people, like the whole family, whatever, came in, and she was like, "You can trust him, blah blah blah. This is my cousin. He's ready to work." And he was like, "Oh, we need someone who's like, whatever," because he was investor or a banker, so I don't know who it
Is he the whistleblower?
He's the
Oh,
one.
Ice-T in the beginning with Chris Rock. Remember the guy who saw Chris Rock and Ice-T in the beginning was the one at the end who was like, he's a cop. Was it him?
Yes. Okay. He was the one that was in the courtroom that Nina was like, it was him. That's him.
Oh, what was that man's name again?
Yep.
So yeah,
I do remember now. Interesting. Yeah, forgettable. And I guess that's the point. The other scene that really got me, or I don't know, I liked I was a fan of Pookie's storyline, as harmful as it was and as tragic as it ended. I knew there was no way he was going to be able to successfully go in and be around drugs and not. But I guess like someone was saying that like one of like the more famous parts of this movie is like someone like saying like, just say no, Pookie. But I don't think anyone said that in the movie.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I don't remember that. Or maybe that's just like what people say about the movie. They're just like, just say no.
Yeah, I'm not recollecting on that. I will say, aside obviously from the Oscar drama, I've never seen Chris Rock in a serious role before.
Yeah,
and I thought he was great. I actually watched this movie on DVD, and so we have the CD cover, which I don't have here today. But his name isn't listed. Like, you know how there's usually like the names at the top. From my recollection, his name isn't listed, which I think is very interesting because I think he had one of the standout roles in it. His role was extremely important to it. So the fact that like, I don't know, maybe it's just because like that person in general is kind of like discarded anyway. But I thought he did a great job as Pookie. I really felt for him when Ice-T had him dragged into the precinct to make him sober so that they could use him. And he was like screaming and crying. Like, I feel like, you know, that was probably like the first time like I heard Chris Rock's voice, but I could register that he was not playing Chris Rock. You know, like I feel like he plays Chris Rock a lot in the things that he does. But in this, I was impressed. I got to be honest. I was very impressed because it was very much, excuse my language, giving crackhead. And I don't mean that in like a funny way. I mean that in like he was playing it how, like, not really stereotypical, but like literally how it would be. And like you said, he's around all these like drugs and stuff. I do have a question. Might have missed that part in the movie. How did he die? Because it wasn't the bomb. And it was like, I feel like in my head, it went from the bomb to his funeral. And I don't really know.
Because he wasn't sober anymore. He was acting up. And then they figured out that he had a wire on him. And then they shot him.
Yeah, he said, take him outside and kill him.
But I don't think they didn't show it.
No,
okay, but they didn't show him get shot. That's probably why I was confused.
Yeah, he said, Scotty, like, come help me, blah, blah, blah. And that's when they ran out because they thought that they could find him before they killed him. But they killed him and then they tied him up to the bomb. So.
Right, yes, it was his
Wait, he was dead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh, I thought you knew.
Wait a second.
Yeah. Because I looked at it, I double checked.
Let's rewind on that fun fact.
I double checked the fact and it said his corpse was laying, and I was like, okay. So I was like,
so he just wasn't sitting still. He was dead.
He was dead.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's why I was so confused, because I thought he was still alive in the bomb situation, and he was just sitting there, like it's just like he was knocked out. So when they were talking about like, oh, Pookie, the bomb was still going off. So I just thought they felt bad that he had a bomb attached to him. I had no idea he was dead. Hence the reason why confused to see a funeral scene. And I was like, oh, I guess they just killed Pookie off. I will be 100% transparent. I watched this at night and I took an hour nap in between the movies. So
I understand.
And it wasn't because the movie was bad and I paused it. I did not sleep during the movie. Okay. I took a nap when I paused the movie. but that could be why my recollection is not completely there because, well, damn, R.I.P. Pookie.
I know it's crazy, girl. This is why Nino is just completely unredeemable. Like it wasn't even, and that was before the baby, I think. So it's like already that, and then this.
Yeah.
Like
he got his comeuppance.
He had to go. Yes, and I have a question. This, I've seen a few different movies, TV shows where it's like a similar storyline where like this man is just so bad and then, or this person is horrible, they end up going to court, they end up getting off and then they die like at the very end, like whoever they wronged in the beginning comes back at the end and kills them. I've seen that at least like 2 or 3 different times in different movies. Was this movie like the start of that trope? Or because like what's the origin? Because like certain movies are just so iconic that everyone wants to do it now, and I feel like this movie is iconic enough that I could see it being an inspiration for other people to see this and then use it themselves. But I don't know, I haven't seen enough stuff yet.
Yeah, I would assume so. Like I feel like you don't see that a lot in a lot of movies nowadays, but it was very prevalent back then of like the person from the past coming back and doing something to them. But
there's a movie that I watched recently, like it came out in 2020, where the same thing happened with it's called I Care a Lot with Rosamund Pike, who's in Gone Girl.
Didn't see it, but I believe what you're saying.
She's good. Sidebar, but like same thing happens. So I'm just like, what is this? Either way, I like it. I love to see it because it's always like, hell yeah. Because there was no way that anyone would have been satisfied with this man getting 1 year.
Yeah.
Like he had to die. Which
is really interesting when you look at like the court system now. That, I mean, him getting off with only a year is a little bit of a stretch, but more so because the guy got in there with his gun. Like nowadays, you could never even enter a court building with a gun. The fact this man was coming down the stairs, took his pistol out, like boom, pop, dead, and everyone was like, "Yeah, this is nice." I was like,
y'all smiling.
They were smiling.
I don't know what would change in the court system, but I'm pretty sure for a minute now you haven't been able to bring your own gun. But
did that
all back check me on that?
Did that change like around like the whole like 9/11 time when like they were adding TSA to everything, metal detectors? I don't remember life before that, so
I don't either. So Zelensky was here. We don't remember any of that. So I mean,
barely here. I was thinking, so
right.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised though. I would not be surprised if that's the case. Okay, I do want to talk about something.
Okay.
Right, because we have yet to talk about the other half of this movie, which is the police side.
Oh, right.
First off, I would love to address that his partner looked like Fessy from The Challenge.
You had to say.
I would just like to address. I had to bring that up when I first saw it to the girls, and I was like, guys, who is this man? It was just a picture, but
look
I was
exactly
like this, sir, where'd you come from? Secondly, one of my lowlights for this movie, Ice-T was great, but baby, his wardrobe was giving me, I don't remember his name, but the evil man from The Princess and the Frog. It was giving me very much.
What was his name?
The voodoo priestess guy. It was giving me Wrong City. It was giving like, I've never seen, from all the true detective stuff I've watched, real and scripted, I've never seen nobody walk around a place like him and not get questioned as a narc. Like
Dr. Cecilia.
Yes.
He was supposed to be undercover, plain clothes. He looked like he's about to put a spell on someone. Make it make sense. Like,
literally.
Is it me? Like, I'm not understanding.
He had like a long leather jacket and some like at the beginning.
A hat and like, I've never really seen Ice-T act in terms of like movies and stuff. Obviously, he's on Law and Order, where he also plays an officer. I don't know if that's just like his styling usually, but his character was fine. But it just never really made sense how much he stood out as not one of them for them to believe that he was one of them.
And then like his partner was wearing like basic clothing. And I'm like, y'all are day and night. Like we need to assemble, like we need an outfit assembly. Okay. We need to coordinate. We cannot.
They didn't have a meeting.
They just have a meeting. Just send them, have a little call. Be like, hey, I'm wearing this today. What are you wearing?
And
discuss the outfit.
Right. That's all that needs to be done.
It doesn't even make sense for like character purposes, like if they wanted one person to stand out more than the other, because they seemed like they were on level playing field as far as importance in the story. So what's happening here? Maybe Ice-T had his own personal input and they were like, well, we can't lose him. So let's just give him what he wants. That's what it's giving to me.
Which is great for him. Love the power that he held if he did that. I'm just saying, in terms of like the plot line and what was going on, it didn't really make sense because I don't remember him not dressing like that. Like it would make more sense if he dressed like that in the beginning, which he did when he was chasing Chris Rock, and just at the end, so that the guy would visually be like, wait, I've seen you before. You wore something similar. But it was just like he was dressed so differently from everyone. And I don't know if they were trying to play off of the fact that he had locks. They were trying to do like a Rasta, like more natural thing. But it was taking me out of the movie. If I got to be honest.
That's a good point. That's probably what they were trying to do because he had locks.
Yeah,
he was the only one with locks. And I guess it's the 90s. But people had locks. People have locks. Like,
right.
And it's normal. So, but maybe in the 90s it wasn't as desirable.
But in New York?
Right. Like it doesn't make sense. However you spin it.
It just wasn't.
He had control over his costumes. He was like, I'm wearing this from my closet and you're going to like it. I bought this yesterday and I thought it was cute. And I'm wearing
it. That's absolutely what I had to, because it doesn't. I like to justify and see if things make sense for the eras and stuff like that. And maybe there's just something that I don't know about from that era. And that's very possible because I just watched this movie yesterday. But also, I'm just not understanding the correlation between like his character and his character's vibes and that. So let's move on to the plot twist at the end that I did not see coming. And I'm interested to see how you guys felt about it. The fact that Nino actually killed Ice-T's character's mom in the movie, and that she was the teacher. How did we feel about that? Did we feel like it made sense with the story? Like, it was a nice little plot twist, but I feel like if it wasn't there, it wouldn't have taken anything away from the movie.
Wait, did I miss something? Hold on, wait. The beginning, he killed a teacher.
Yes.
In the when they were like taking over the building.
No. So him and Appleton were on the roof, and he was still vetting Appleton out. And he was telling him, the story of how they told him he had to show that he was like ruthless. So he just walked up to a woman while he was like, I don't know if he was high, I don't remember, but he just shot her in the head. Fast forward to the end of the movie, when Ice-T finally throws him in the garbage, he was like, that teacher was my mother. And I was like,
whoa, wait a second. Wait, this was when he was like hanging the guy off the bridge and he was saying this.
No. Okay. So he was talking like in the past. So Nino was telling Ice-T's character, when I first got into the games, they said to prove my loyalty or whatever, that I needed to go and shoot somebody. And he thought it was going to be an enemy, but it was going to be some random person. And so he just shot this lady in the street. Yeah. And that turned out to be Scotty's mom.
So they didn't show this, like they spoke about it. Okay, yes, that makes sense. I might have missed that line because I was in the theater and there was a lady who was on her phone. Okay. And it was pissing me off. It was, how are you going to pay money to go see a movie and then be on your phone? And so I might have missed it at that point because I was staring her down.
Bobby, it's the American way. That is the most American thing she could do.
Be on her phone. So
to be on her phone watching a movie where the phone didn't even exist.
Literally, it just it killed me. But okay, yes, I'm caught up. Yes.
Yeah. Do we think that Ice-T knew that before the story?
I think he did, because like he probably put two and two together, because Nino said, oh, she was like some school teacher or something like that, and I shot her. And like, I'm sure he was like, my mom was a school teacher, she got shot, that's my mama. But what I was so, I guess, surprised about, because he told him this, I thought, did he tell him that in the pool, or was that something different? No, he told him
on the roof.
Okay, on the roof. And I was like, if I had put two and two together and the math was mathing, and I was like, I would not be that calm. If I found out that you killed my mama and you just over here bragging about it, and you talking about, oh, that made me rise up and I went up in the ranks and blah, 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 I would have to throw you off the roof. Like, I'm not sorry. Like, I was very surprised how calm he was about the whole situation. Now, yes, he was a detective. Yes, he was like, I need to focus on getting him out. Like, I'm sure that that's what the motivation was. But I was just very surprised that he didn't, snap then. So maybe he didn't know. Maybe he didn't put two and two together.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Do you think that Ice-T knew that before Nino told him that story?
Now I'm thinking no.
He had to have known. He had to, because, well, now we're getting into nitty gritty, but I just feel like if his mother was a school teacher and was killed suddenly, and I guess there was like already like gang violence going on or whatever, and she's killed like that, and if Nino is like the man in that town that's like running shit or like trying to run shit, he probably at least had some idea of like what group was responsible. Maybe not him exactly, but that explains why this case is so important to him and why he has to stay on it, because it's personal. Like, these people killed his mother, regardless if he knew it was Nino or not. But I think when Nino told him, he was like, oh yeah, I got to kill him. I have to at some point. So I think he knew.
Yeah, that would make sense as to why he was so calm when he told him the story.
Yeah.
That's why it was kind of giving like, I could kill you right now and get away with it because I'm a police officer, because you shot my mom and I'm not gonna go to jail for it. I've been wanting to do this for some time, and I don't really know the time span of this movie as far as like where we were, how many years, how many days, how many months had passed. So I definitely think that he might have known beforehand, because it seemed like Nino kind of kept his hands clean from the justice system and had other people do things for him. But if you know about them and Nino, then you've got to know about what he probably did in the past. So I think that's possible.
I did have a question though, because there was something I was confused about. So you know how? Okay, so I was under the impression that Scotty and his partner that he hated, that they were no longer officers when they first went to them, and they were like, "We want you on this case." I thought that they were like reinstated or something. So I was confused that like after like Pookie died and they shut down the operation or whatever, were they still detectives? Like, or did they take back the reinstatement?
This is why Ice-T's wardrobe doesn't make sense. No, hear me out. Because in anything that I looked up for this movie, he is listed as an undercover detective.
Right.
So remember, in the very, very beginning of the movie, he tried to do the drug deal with Chris Rock. He's been an undercover detective this entire time.
Yes, yeah.
He was an underdetective. This is why it doesn't make sense that he was dressing like this, because he was a detective this whole time, and he didn't dress differently as a detective versus an undercover person. That's why Odu recognized him. And if you remember, when he shot Chris Rock, and I think the people in the park was about to jump him, he was like, I'm a cop. And then that's when everyone started running. So I think maybe the other partner might not have like been actively working or wasn't really like in the scene undercover, but he had lived in the lifestyle, so he could do it. But no, he was a detective the whole movie.
Oh, see, that was not made clear to me. I thought that it was like they were like, no, we don't want them. We don't want them on this operation. And they were like, we need them. We need to bring them back. Like, that's what I thought it was. I didn't know it was that they were working the entire time.
Yeah, they were NYP the whole time.
I was also confused a little bit towards the end, like after Pookie and that whole situation. I was like, so were they kicked off or not? But I guess not because they stayed. But I did have a little laugh. So I'm like, what's happening?
Well, I think correct me if I'm wrong, I think because Pookie got killed, they put Ice-T in his place as the informant. Because remember, Ice-T wasn't in the gang at first. And then when Pookie got killed, he became like one of the bodyguard people.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, okay, what's his name? Peebles? What is his name?
Mario.
His character, he was like, at the funeral, he was like, the operation's done. So I assume that Scotty and his partner were just going like rogue and still continuing on the operation.
No, I think that because when he got made, I could be remembering this wrong. When he got made, I'm pretty sure the cops were like, go in, go in. That's why the Asian dude, the like Asian mixed American race guy that got stabbed, that's why he ran in, because they were like, he's been made. So yeah, but
okay. So the operation was still going on.
Yes. But they put him in his place so they can continue it, because I think he fought for it to keep going and was like, I'll put myself in his place. But you know, my memory's a little.
But see, that would make sense why he did know that it was Nino that killed his mom. Like he had to continue.
That's why I asked. I was curious. But we have
a lot.
We've discussed a lot. But we know what we came here to do. We got to give this movie a rating. Yes, so for New Jack City, 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3, 4, 5. How many hot combs out of 5 do you give this movie?
I give it a 3. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't love it. I did like how like Keith Sweat just randomly appeared at a wedding, and he was just
that was great.
That was great.
But
that was okay. I was like, see, this is why I like 90s movies, because you just see anyone and everyone just pop up.
Yes, they just be the cameos.
The cameos are great. But like, again, I wouldn't watch it again. A lot of things I'm just realizing I didn't understand, or like just completely went over my head. That didn't make sense to me. Yeah, I did find some trivia though, like just a little bit of trivia.
Oh yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I didn't know that Lil Wayne made Cash Money Records and named it after the Cash Money Brothers. I didn't realize that, and that all of his albums, the Carters, wasn't from his last name, but it was from the Carter Apartments.
You fooled me. I was fooled.
Well, I was fooled because I just assumed it was his name. I mean, it's probably like a good coincidence for him, I guess.
Right. It's probably a little bit of both, but
I wonder if that's like a copyright thing.
Yeah.
But it's not the same name.
Right.
He did change a word.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I feel like this movie it would probably make more sense on a rewatch. You know, I feel like a lot of this is what's that word? Where people drop stuff for you to realize on the second watch.
Easter eggs. I
feel like there's a lot of Easter eggs in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
That we'd have to like go back and try to piece together. I don't know. I'd probably give it I'm gonna go with a 4. It would have been a 3, but Wesley Snipes was so good. I have to give it a 4.
Mm-hmm.
See, I came in here thinking I was going to give it one thing, but now that I realize how confused I was about things, I have to give it a 3.5. I want to give it a 4 because Wesley Snipes 8. Okay, Carrie, back hurting because this movie was on his back. It was great. But just now discussing it, and I was really between, I think, that anyway, but I think I'm gonna do 3.5 because it was a good movie. I can see why it's a cult classic. I probably wouldn't watch it again. And it's very of the time. I think watching it in 2022 when half the stuff in this movie could not even be in this movie without a point and a purpose makes it a little cringy to watch. I will say though, there was a quote where I think Stone's boss said this is like New Jack City versus New Jack City. I do think they did a really good job at showing the relationship between the police and gangs in New York at the time and just in America. And then also just what the crack and cocaine epidemic did to the Black community during that time. I do have to give it credit for that. I have to give the plot, other than the stuff we talked about, was pretty solid. I think they did a lot of stuff came back around, like you said, and like buttoned like loose ends up. Music was great. Loved it. The music was top tier. Wesley Snipes was top tier. The plot, it was a solid plot. But if I have to rate it on thinking about it and the fact that I didn't even know a character was dead. And the fact that even though this was great for it to be an hour and a half, a little bit more than that, I think that is like the time. I think maybe they might have squeezed in too much stuff for that little bit of time. Mm-hmm. Like there was too many things you had to catch on to for you to not be completely lost. So I've got to give it a 3.5. I want to give it a 4. And I do not dispute the fact if anybody gives it a 4, I do not dispute that because I think it does deserve it. But just from my own personal, I think I gotta give it a 3.5. So you guys have any more thoughts, concerns, questions about New Jack City?
I thought the ending message was interesting. It was very interesting because they weren't like, don't do violence. It was kind of like, do what you gotta do. But we need to stop this drug, like this drug stuff.
That is interesting.
They didn't say, like, don't kill nobody. They said, you gotta do what it takes to.
See, that's interesting because, like, a lot of people are always like, we don't condone violence this, we don't condone violence that. But, like, sometimes it really be that serious.
Yeah.
Like, the greater good is at stake.
Yeah.
I feel like the don't condone violence thing is recent, though. I don't feel like that was the motto in the 90s or the late 80s. I feel like it was all about the violence to get things done. And because guns became so accessible, which is a whole different conversation, because guns became so accessible to people in the streets and you didn't need to get like a conceal and carry all that, it changed the level of power people could have in the streets. So it definitely, I agree. The PSA was good, but I think we've come to a close, guys. I think that's been another episode of Hot Combs and Popcorn. Okay. Thank you guys for listening. Again, I've been Brianna.
I've been Bobby.
And I've been Danielle.
And if you haven't already done so, please follow us and subscribe to our YouTube and Apple Podcast channels. Throw us a like, share this episode, and let us know in the comments if you watched New Jack City. Did you get to watch it when it came out? And how are your feelings about it? We would love to know. And please also let us know what we should watch next. We do accept movies and television submissions from Black culture. We want to know, what do we need to get caught up on? Okay. Fill us in the comments below. So as for us, I think those street lights are about to come on. So we've got to go. Okay. Same place, same time. Love it for us. All right. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.